You said there's a big story, so let's hit it.
Well, we have to talk about the fact that LiveNation actually made some pretty big news. And the weird thing is that, like, I always meant to go back to this and talk about this, but we never really talked about how all these venues were taking a cut of merch from bands, and it started to really kind of spike after COVID. And
when was that? Was it always been? I just want to know.
I'm not familiar with it existing before they reopened from COVID. So if it did, I am familiar with like major artists, like A-listers like Justin Timberlake. They sign these 360 deals, they call them, where it's just like it's one company handles everything, merchandise, promotion, ticket sales, everything, and they get a cut of everything because of that. But I've never heard of like First Avenue saying, yeah, we're taking 20%. And some of these have gotten to the point where it wasn't even worth it, or they insist on their own person selling the thing, and they don't have that same vested interest that the guy who's selling the merch for Max Sabbath would for Max Sabbath. Yeah.
Now, what I've heard is from Max Sabbath and other industry leaders is that typically the best thing to do is to sign 2 180 deals.
Yes, you never do a 360. Just a one.
You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Otherwise, you might be twins.
Yeah, look, I've heard the arguments, and this is all fucked. Fuck you. A table in the corner selling merch, go fuck yourself. You don't deserve anything. Charge more for your drinks. Charge more for the tickets. Find another fucking way. Right. You aren't the only person. It wasn't just. I mean, are we going to pretend that the gas isn't expensive for these bands, or that they took a hit during COVID? The whole thing is just shady. But LiveNation.
I just want to put it in perspective for a business thing. Let's say that you say like, oh well, they're presenting the place you can sell it. How is that any different than Amazon or something like that? Let me give you an example. The most, and Amazon is fucking evil. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've been a seller on there for years. You make the product, you do all the risk. It's their marketplace. The most that Amazon takes is 15% as on the high end. Mm-hmm. It depends what it is, but it's 7%, depends on the goods. So 30%. You made all the shit. You went into the place. You're traveling, and they're taking 30%. This is the company we're talking about, just to show. And they're doing fucking nothing. Yes?
Exactly. Yeah. And think about this. If there's no band playing there with people coming in, and apparently there's enough that space is really valuable, what are you making that night then? Jack shit. So let's
30%,
stop.
And you're paying to rent the venue, and you paid to get there. There's all that. I just want to throw all those different scenarios in there of all these this stacking up there, and they're taking 30% of your fucking $30 shirts.
Yeah, I'm talking about the venue basically acting like the band has no benefit for them. If there's any money to be made, you know what I mean?
All the alcohol sales.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, but if a band doesn't draw, you're not going to get the alcohol sales. There aren't going to be
all that work to have.
There isn't going to be enough people in there to worry about the 20 square feet of footage that you're so preciously deeming as worth 30-40% of a T-shirt. You know what I mean? In other words, if it's a big enough draw, you're benefiting on that end, and the band is paying you that way with alcohol sales, with ticket sales.
That's what I mean. It's the most evil cut, really, because the person that's buying the merch is the person that you've cultivated this relationship with, this band, this thing. You've got them into the venue, and they are willing to spend that extra money on that to support you. And
it's like they're mad they're not fucking buying more beer or something like that. It's just shitty.
Right.
It's just anyway. But LiveNation made a pretty big step. I think there's a lot more to go, but this seems pretty legit. That not only are they just getting rid of that whole what do they call that? Not procedure. Basically, the policy is gone in all their venues, and it's sad that one company has that kind of flex across the entire country. Different issue altogether, but they're also like I really would like to see the details in this. A $1,500 a week stipend for the bands that help with the travel costs.
That was per show.
Per show.
$1,500 per show.
Even better. So if all that lines up the way it does, I mean, that helps offset the travel costs, the being able to just function. It doesn't make any of these bands rich or independently wealthy. You know, I'm struggling to see. This seems like there has to be something fucked with it, but if not, it just shows you how much money was always there. And as much as this is a nice gesture, how about you fucking own up what a greedy piece of shit you were to begin with? That this was even something that needed to be made so public. I don't know.
So can I tell you my argument of where the evil is on this?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. So in Denver, most venues are pretty much owned by Access, like Access TV, if you're familiar with it, AXS.
To pause you there, I mean, it's basically either LiveNation or Access running all the clubs. LiveNation has a deal with Ticketmaster. So, hey, funny thing I heard, you remember Ticketron? Which actually predated Ticketmaster. I saw a funny meme. It was like Ticketron sounded like a fun ticket dispensing robot. It was like, I'll give you tickets. And Ticketmaster sounds like someone who owns you.
It does, actually.
Yeah, I think how shitty that is. Yeah.
Tron, lights. I think lightsabers, or not lightsabers. What were those goddamn cars in the movie Tron?
Light cycles.
Light cycles. I think that. It makes me smile.
Yeah.
Ticketron, not a bad place. Yeah.
I am Ticketron. Here is your ticket. Go see Warrant.
On the road again. We won't take 30% of your fee anymore.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we should mention the program is called On the Road Again in partnership with Willie Nelson, trying to get some more goodwill before he goes to heaven.
Sure. Why not? So here's the problem, though. So in our area, there's LiveNation owns two sister venues, one called the Summit, which holds about 1,000, and one called the Marquee, which I saw Local H at to give you the.
So about that holds about what, 20 people?
But yeah, it's 150 people, 200 people, whatever. It's a small place. So that's what I'm saying. And then from there, there's ones that are independent. That is where it's going to hurt, I think. There's a place called Globe Hall. There's a place called HQ. They're all about the same size. Oh, Herman's Hideaway, for example, the one that I see all the 80s bands. Now, if you're a band now, where are you going to go in town? Are you going to go to the Marquee? And there's more than just the Marquee, but I'm just throwing those out there. I would rather fucking get my $1,500 from the Marquee. And I'm not saying those places take any percentage of the sales for merch, but that $1,500, if you're that level, a Marquee place, and there's a bunch of similar sized venues, you're going to go there. So now they're getting exclusivity in that market by throwing that bone out there.
You actually bring up two valid points here. One, your main thing there is that, this actually allows them to assert a certain level of control that, frankly, they don't need.
Right.
Right. It's just like getting that last, I don't want this guy getting even a fucking taste. But the other thing is that, I only know this because I know Ron Keel. But Ron Keel, when they played out there, they played Herman's Hideaway, yes? Or was it a different place?
Yeah. No, that was another place that was, again, another independent
It was
place.
Independent, though, right?
Yes.
Now, there was a meet and greet package that was being sold for that show that Ron and his band did not get a penny of. But they were only able to get the guarantee that made it effective for them to travel out there because the bar also had an agreement to, we're going to sell meet and greet packages, and we're going to keep that money. And that was the only way that they could break even. It kind of goes back to that, Oliver Anthony conversation. It's some of these places, I am sympathetic to the independent owner when the idea that, I need to make money. If I'm going to give $10,000 to the Ron Keel band to come out here, I'm not going to get that on ticket sales or booze, but I might be able to fucking come pretty close if I do something. So it's kind of goes against what we're saying. You know what I mean? It's now a meet and greet package is different than merch. And Ron Keel sold his own merch and stuff out there, and he had his own Patreon fan club meeting and things. But that kind of scenario has to play out with other artists too, where it's there's the only way Sinzak had to basically take 4 mortgages out on his house to get Keelfest done. I don't know if that was worth
Hopefully
it.
That's not true.
No, it's not. Well, I have no idea what he did to get Keelfest done. How about that? I was just trying to. We haven't taken a cheap shot at Chris in a while. That was all I was going for there.
No, that's all right.
Yeah,
he's okay. He's good for it. But going to that part 2 is I did not know that the marquee and the summit were owned by LiveNation until I saw a post this week that said, "Hey, our concert calendar is filled for October. There are 25 bands coming, and that's 25 opportunities. We're not going to charge 30%, and these bands are getting $1,500 a shot for travel." That was in their social post. So that's what I'm saying is they're throwing it out there and just saying that's not goodwill. That's control of the market.
Yeah, God, that sucks.
That's fucking the small guy.
That's evil as shit. And yeah, you don't have to convince me any further that's because if I'm a band at that level, well, I was a band trying to get to that level. That $1,500, whew. I sold my soul and played covers for 3 years because I would get $1,500 paydays.
Right. Yeah, that's where it's at. So it's so yeah. Again, all it is I think this adds up to 4 90-degree deals put all together.
Hold on. You got to do some math here.
It took 4 contracts to get that $1,500.
Wait, that's a 360 deal.
Exactly. It's all the same thing, man. They're just selling it to it in different ways. And now you're dealing with 4 different Talking Heads. And by the way, Ed Stasium also produced a Talking Heads album.
That fits. Yeah. So, well, glad to leave you on a high note here.